popular YouTuber Nerdcity has left the TBH podcast, which he was the host for. You might be wondering, what is the TBH podcast? Well, the full name of the podcast is called To Be Honest, which is a podcast that talks about different topics, and the hosts for the podcasts are Nerdcity, Colossus Crazy, Dolan Dark, and last but not least, Pyro Cynical. The reason Nerdcity left the podcast was because of Pyro, specifically Pyro's subreddit / Discord community, who were constantly making fun of him and didn't like him talking about other topics that weren't about bashing or making fun of Pyro. He's also been having extreme spaz attacks on Reddit and Discord, getting angry at users for not following the rules and generally being annoying.
So much. Nerd, you want to answer this? We can cut this entirely.
We'll be here for like 30 minutes.
All right. So I don't hate cats. I don't like them. I don't prefer them as a pet. But that's really not the fight that we've been having.
I think first you have to explain why they're even asking this question.
The reason they're asking this is because one of the reasons that the Discord is so unusable and shitty is that maybe like 1 out of every 4 messages posted is a GIF or an MP4 of random cat doing a random thing. It's not their cat necessarily. It might just be something that's on the tenor keyboard. It might be something from TikTok. Just a cat doing something. Stock image of a cat. Cat being funny. A cat being scary. A cat being retarded. Any kind of cat. Just whatever. Dolan has encouraged this. Every sticker on our Discord is a cat. So it's a way for them to relate to Dolan, and I guess relate to the show. But my problem with this is the cat doesn't actually relate to the show. We've never talked about cats until this very moment. So it didn't make any sense. It also was so generic that, well, you want to try to find a smart way to, like, notice the creativity that's happening within your community and then elevate it and like reward the people who are doing funny things. So you're always kind of on, you keep your eye out for when someone shows they have talent or when they've picked out a meme out of your content that you didn't even think of, it starts to have a life of its own. So, you're looking for things that we could put on the TBH Twitter account, or that we could make into a sticker, or pin, to kind of like highlight it and put it on with a magnet on the refrigerator and go like, this fucking rules. We like this. And what I was just seeing over and over were cats, and that we can't do anything with that, and what I said to Dolan is like, imagine best case scenario with the cats. Imagine that every reply to something related to our show or our posts on Twitter is cats. It'll be so generic because it's such it's like the most common thing that anyone has ever posted online, or like cat videos. That used to be the main knock on the internet. Oh, it's mainly cat videos. So we couldn't brand it. So it just seemed like a dead end. So I was trying to
a lot of people just use general for shit posting, which I guess it's just two different views of what a Discord general is. Like
you ended up leaving the Discord because people were posting cats, or was it like an amalgamation of varying things?
Yeah, we had the Patreon episode where we went in detail talking about what were the problems in the Discord, and it was that
I think that didn't let up with the cats. that stayed consistent the entire time.
Well, of course it would, because you kept encouraging it. Like you were posting more cats, and so people will post cats.
I don't mind it either.
The problem was it was off topic, and it snowballed to the point where it became overwhelming. Like I would try to catch up with chat, and I would read like 8 cat things in a row to just trying to get back to where someone had asked a question about the show or said anything that I could engage with, and it was all just people trying to get the attention supply by posting a cat. And it wasn't even it was like nothing that you even were supposed to like. It really was just like we talked about Too Mad, sort of driving a truck through a thread to disrupt it. That's how I saw the cat images. It was meant to just keep people from talking.
Here's what he has to say about those situations.
From Nerdcity in the TBH Discord server, some TBH lore you might not know. Clown and launched this podcast with a plug at the end of our J-Station collab. As a result, it was those viewers and then a handful of Twitter replies from all 4 hosts that really got the ball rolling. I also edited the visuals in those first 3 episodes. and TBH was a bit more like a video series than a podcast back then. Looking back, I feel confident that I knew how to keep the earliest TBH subscribers entertained. That did not remain the case over time. By far, it's Pyro Cynical who has the largest fan base of the 4 hosts. And once he started to link to the TBH pod in the end cards of Pyro Live, it picked us up and changed our demo dramatically. Jay would also work Pyro's face into our thumbs and his name in the titles, which boosted our subscriber growth by a lot and strengthened the connection to Pyro's channel. More people are interested in Pyro as a topic than they are in Nerd, Colossal, or Dolan. So as this strategy continued to work, the top comments changed from telling rest of us to replace Pyro to telling the rest of us to sit back and stop yapping so much and just make fun of him now and then. Another thing became increasingly clear. Most topics that I think are interesting will bore Pyro viewers to death. On my channel, I have a theme of exposing secrets or exploring theories that sounded like crazy conspiracies, but that I could demonstrate were true. In one case, I helped confirm that YouTube has a secret rating system for each channel and video. In another instance, I collaborated with analysts to show that YouTube's bots were suppressing LGBTQ creators. And as you may recall, on episode 5 of TBH Podcast, I went over ESG scores and BlackRock's Aladdin stock picker about a year before those concepts were mainstream talking points. And I'm proud to see that episode is our most viewed and is now close to hitting 1 million views on YouTube. However, as time went on and as our demo kept evolving, it got a lot harder to ever share a topic like that on the podcast again. Pyro viewers don't seem to enjoy when I explain things, and the topics I like tend to be a minefield of keywords that are suppressed by the algorithm, like Bill Gates or demons. I did keep trying to add value to the show, but more and more viewers would voice their concerns on Reddit and in our comments about how I was unironically including clips from alt-right shows like the Joe Rogan podcast, or mentioning alt-right conspiracy theories such as mental disorders in the DSMV. Less yapping. Make fun of Pyro more, were their main requests. Okay then, as a creator, I like to work on content that people will enjoy. And unfortunately, there was a feedback loop where the more I tried to take a back seat on leading our discussions, the more that minority of viewers who joined from my channel would politely tell me they didn't like this podcast anymore. And to be honest, I started feeling increasingly unhappy contributing low-effort work to the show. There's been a push and pull where I always wish the show could represent something more useful to people. So, to be honest, the way this all turned out made me feel pretty angry the past week. And by complaining openly, I tried to force my co-hosts to see how bad things really are. The most maddening thing is, I believe we recorded a pretty good episode in TBH 31, and a surprising amount of people even said it was their favorite, or the best episode yet. But in spite of that, it still missed the mark by a lot with Pyro's subreddit. So a few days ago, I lashed out at Pyro over this, in public and in private, because I felt like he wasn't defending our show when it got heat from his fans. My thinking was that since it's his viewers that we cater to now, then he should speak up or correct the record if his fan base attacks us unfairly. But obviously, criticizing Pyro isn't going to fix his fat, smelly subreddit or his belching, gaseous Discord. And it also wasn't fair to place the blame between Pyro's big, sweaty moobs. The state of TBH actually isn't any particular host's fault at the end of the day. It's the result of the decisions we all made, and it's equally been my doing too. I, for one, could have been uploading more and balancing the scales in our listeners. So in one manner of speaking, it was Pyro's prolific upload schedule that kept TBH in business at all. And so I should be thankful to him for pulling his weight. As most of you will already know, Pyro takes a different approach to his communities than many YouTubers do. He eggs his fans on to act like they hate him, and then he acts completely unflappable when they tell him to kill himself. But I haven't built that relationship with the internet, and to be honest, I'd rather not have one. I don't like the dense fog of farts that Pyro manages to thrive in. So all things considered, I don't see a path forward where I can be useful to this show. I'll still be hanging around the server and channel if you need to reach me. I'll going to remain in the Patreon Discord, and you can still talk to me anytime you want to. But in the near term, instead of recording new TBH episodes, I'm going to turn my focus back to making new videos for YouTube and finishing some larger projects I started that are moving too slow. Now and then, if I have a good topic to yap about, I might record an audio stream for Nerd Suburbs, and then cross-post it to X on at Nerdcity. I'm looking forward to uploading again, And maybe this new challenge of starting from scratch and sitting alone with a microphone, yapping into the void. Thank you to everyone who supported TBH on Patreon. I'm grateful that you gave me a chance to entertain you. If you're subscribed to Nerd City on YT, I aim to have interesting videos to show you soon. Nerd.
So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, why would he care so much about Pyro's community at all? If you guys don't know, Pyro is a massive furry DJ that has a big thing for fluffy things, to say the least, and his community isn't safe from that either. There are two sides to his community. One are people who make fun of Pyro, and the other being massive furry DJs, which is a whole can of worms in and of itself. Also, this doesn't help that Nerd is actively engaging with these types of people for no reason, just to prove that he's in the right, which I feel is a huge waste of time and could be better spent on doing literally anything else. He's also been caught under fire for his stance on NFTs, which led to him having a mental breakdown on multiple subreddits. So we don't know the situation right now, but I hope he turns to a new leaf and just ignore the weirdos on Reddit. I want to end this video on this. Dear To Be Honest podcast, if you're looking for a new host for the podcast, then you come to the right place. I may not look like it, but I'm a big up and coming YouTuber who dreams of making it big in the world. My goal is to one day reach 10 million subscribers and get a diamond play button. Join the j/SDMP server, become a new member of the Party Crashers and SideQuest, and to become the best Nintendo gamer to ever exist. My editing skills are out of this world, and I'm a massive comedian, and I'm an awesome comedian who has witty banter and a roaster. I'm up for anything you guys put me through. My contacts are always open, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank you guys for watching, and have a nice day.